Hey, Thrive Community Church and Facebook Live people and YouTube people and everybody else around the world, I hope you get a hold of this right here. We're going to have a great leadership night. I am going to give you an action-packed 30 minutes or so, and I really hope you take this and you digest this and you watch it over and over again and you take the notes and you highlight through it and you just really apply this. And it's a practice, and so I'm going to give you actually 6 practices today for you to utilize and use throughout your life, because it must be continual. Now, in practice number 1, we're going to talk about is envision. And last time, the reason we're starting with that is because where we left off the last time we did a leadership night, we talked about having vision for your life. Every individual must have vision for their life. In fact, there's a PDF link in this bio or in the comments section down below, or you can see here's what it looks like right here. We can get you that if you just send us a message and, hey, I want this PDF link, if it's no longer available in the comments section and you have watched it when you're watching this video. But it's important that each one of us have vision. Great leaders envision. And so I'm not just talking about vision, I'm talking about envision. Great leaders have an envision that is compelling, different and vibrant, a world that looks different than what it is, a future that is better than what is right here, right now around us. They have an alternative version, a clear view of what the world could be. It could look like tomorrow. A difference from here's what it is today, but what could it be? And great leaders, and every leader has the potential. There is no DNA makeup that causes someone to be a great leader. When you research leaders, you will find out their background is all across the board. And so you can't discount yourself. You can't discredit yourself. You can't say, well, I don't have this, or I was never given this. Well, neither were they. They discovered it. They found it. They went for it. They searched for it. They made sacrifices to obtain it. They took time. They did what it takes to develop skills. And this right here is just taking time to envision. Catch vision for your life. They believe that the great leaders, they believe that they and others would be compelled by it, or interested in this. They might be inspired by, or they actually want to work towards this thing. And that's a big deal. You've read that in leadership, you have to have a vision. It's biblical, in fact. Where there is no vision, Proverbs 29:18, where there is no vision, people perish. And we know there's power in having that vision. So you have to sit down and actually do it. You can't just have a vision and not do anything. That's called daydreaming. And in Latin America, they call these sandcastles in the sky. And so the reason we say envision versus have a vision is because it's a practice of envisioning, meaning you have to practice it. You have to do it. What should tomorrow look like for my team? What should tomorrow be like for my business or my organization or the church? What should tomorrow be like for my life, for me, for my marriage, for my kids' life, for my family? What should tomorrow look like? And not just tomorrow, but long-term mindset in view. I'm seeing it in a long set view. What in the future, what could it look like? What are the desires of my heart? What is the heartbeat inside of me that compels me, that causes me to wake up earlier than what I currently wake up? What would give me drive? And what do I need to do just a little bit tomorrow to get that thing moving forward? What's the dream? What's the magnificent obsession even? What is the bold desire that is deep down inside of your soul? What are those moonshot goals that you had and you've been pondering, and maybe they've woken you up in the middle of the night, or maybe they disturbed you in the morning, and maybe that's just passed through. And the purpose, what's the purpose and the mission of life? What's the bigger picture that God has put inside of you that you know is there, but maybe outside voices and their own doubt and their own concern or their own confusion, have spoken negatively against it, and something inside of you said, no, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that. But God has placed this vision in you for you to envision, and that's envisioning a different reality in the future than we experience today. And that's why everybody gets excited about leadership. Where there's no vision, there's no leadership. And where there's no vision, people are perishing. And this world is decaying. The world is craving. It's calling out, it's desiring you to rise up and become a leader. So we have to envision. Oftentimes I take the time to envision when the building, the next part of the vision for Thrive Community Church. I envision the vision, the building of the vision of the building. I'm sitting there thinking about it, and I'm looking through it, and I'll even walk in it, and I'll just sit there, and I'll envision what it could look like. In fact, this past Saturday, when I was there 2 hours early before anybody else got there, because I was envisioning what that day could go like, what it could look like, because of what we need to take place, what the building might look like. Why? Because I'm envisioning people who don't even come to our building yet, our church yet, who have never even probably heard of Thrive Community Church. I'm watching them in my mind enjoy the little details and the peace and the lawn and having a great parking spot and enjoying the excellence inside of the building. So I'm envisioning all of those things. And then I'm envisioning the next step. And then I envision the steps after that. And I think, what do we need to do today? What do we need to do today to move the vision forward? Because ultimately, the building is not the vision. The building will facilitate the vision of being a transformation center for others. But it starts with taking the time to envision. So by the way, I say these six practices of leadership and not 6 steps, because I don't want you to think, well, I do one and then I do the next and then I do the next and then I do the next. No, they are continual practices, but because you continually have to do each one of these. We always have to continually sit down and envision where we are and where we can be going. It's an active, progressive process. And if you set a vision one time in your life and you forget about it, it's not going to help you accomplish the influence or impact that you really want. So practice 1 is to envision. Practice 2 is to enlist. As you're developing this vision, remember, it's not just your vision. God will bring people alongside you who carry the details of the vision that God has given them for their lives. Those details were purposed to fulfill the vision God has given you. You are enlisting other people to share their voices, to share their perspectives, their dreams, their desires for where you could be going. And I think the most important leadership lesson in this world is this: that people support what they create. If people are involved in the ideation of a vision, they're involved in creating ideas, brainstorming, figuring out what it is we're about. What do we stand for? Where are we going? Great leaders enlist that from other people. They're constantly asking people, what do you think? How do you feel? When? What are the things that you desire? What is it that you need to move these things forward? A great leader is always enlisting other people to believe in the dream, to shape the dream, to stay dedicated to the dream. It's an honest, authentic, and genuine desire to see other people be involved in the process and to enjoy the process. Enjoy the process. You're asking questions. You're paying attention to their needs. You're reflecting back when they're not there to the things that you're hearing. You're envisioning and you're enlisting and you're sitting there thinking about, here's the things that they said, and here's the vision that I've been given, and here's how that forms together. And so God has given you everything that you need to help shape that with others. You're always enlisting others to support and build this vision, this ideal future together. So you do those two. You enlist, you envision, and practice 3 is you embody. You embody. Leaders stand for something. There is a congruence between who they are, their behaviors they're enacting in this world, how they treat people, what they're working towards, what they say is important. It's called integrity. And there's nothing more important, right? There's nothing worse than someone who doesn't have integrity, who are not doing what they say they're going to do. And there's nothing greater than someone who has integrity and they do exactly the things that they tell you they're going to do and how and when they tell you they're going to do it. You don't believe the message unless you believe the messenger, right? We've heard that. But as leaders, we have to stand for and demonstrate and show and portray what we believe in. You got to bring it. And our team and our people around us are seeing us work for it. Are they seeing you work for it? Sweat for it, sacrifice for it? Are they seeing you champion it over and over, even when it's hard? Even when there's conflict, because there will be conflict. Even when people are pissed and want to quit, are they seeing you steadfast and championing what can be? Are you still there in the difficult times? Do you still stand for it, or have you wavered? And if you do, you'll become a legend in your area. You'll become a legend in your field. Do you have vision? And do your leaders see these qualities in you? So you envision, you enlist, you embody, and then practice 3, you empower. Empowerment means giving people the decision-making authority and trust to be able to work towards the vision. It means allowing them the autonomy and strength and input. It means equipping them with knowledge, with skills, with abilities, with technology. These are called resources, with the tools and training to allow them to succeed as they march with us to achieve something extraordinary and phenomenal. You've got to resource them with everything that they need to fulfill the vision that God has given them that pertains to the bigger vision that God has given you. You've got to take a risk. You've got to train, and train again what it is that you want to see done. That's vital. That's what empowerment is all about. And many leaders come in, they have this big vision, but they get everyone excited, and it seems like they want everybody involved, and they do a great job of standing for it, but they don't equip their teams to kick some butt and stay steadfast when things get difficult. They never get to that place of real stride and momentum. They're constantly fighting forward. It doesn't just happen once either. You have to do it over and over and over and over, and that's a huge failure in leadership. Great leaders come in, they nail the vision, they get people around it, they stand for something, but they only empower people at the beginning. They give some training and then they just disappear. Training has to be consistent. Coaching has to be consistent. Equipping people to deal with the new challenges, the new tools, the new technologies and competitive realities. That's vital. We have to have all of that in place. And I get it. It's not always welcomed. But you didn't always welcome it either. You find the people who want to grow and you never stop challenging them. Even when the coaching is uninvited, you do it anyway. because that's what it takes to break the mold of old ways of thinking. Practice 5 is evaluate. Evaluation is one of the hardest things we do in leadership. To evaluate the key people who are with us, their contributions, to evaluate their skills, needs, and the ethics that are going on in our organization, in our team. We're evaluating on these questions. Are we being excellent? Are we being ethical? Are we being excellent and ethical as we are progressing? Are we progressing in what we are doing? Or are we stuck in a cycle? If not, why? Are we being ethical? If not, why? Are we being excellent? If not, why? We have to keep asking these questions. It takes practice. You have to be intentional. You have to schedule those times, those moments out in advance. You have to stick to it. You have to keep your thumb on the pulse to see how we are doing. Are we alive? Are we moving forward? That evaluation also brings up the incredible challenge that we face as leaders, which is to give honest, direct, immediate, and constructive feedback to those who are trying to influence. We are trying to influence and lead. To our collaborators, our friends, maybe their followers. It's vital that we are paying attention and seeing when things are starting to go off the rails a little bit. We can never check out. Evaluation is a consistent process of checking in, seeing how we're doing, paying attention to measure the progress of our mission. Are we moving the needle forward? Is anything really happening? Are we just staying busy, or are we just staying distracted? Practice 6 is encourage. This is a very discouraged world, and people just need encouragement. Encourage. Be the champion. Be the cheerleader. Be the person always motivating, inspiring, and uplifting people. If the energy is not in the room, bring the energy. Raise up the energy. Find it within. Remind yourself why you're doing what you're doing. Remind yourself of the vision, the envisioning that you've done and what it could look like, and get excited about what it could look like, and then spread that, share that passion into others of what it could look like, and help them to begin to see from their perspective what it could look like. Lift them up. Many leaders have these pet projects and they get all excited about them, and then those projects just disappear. I've done it. It's easy to find a pet project and get excited about it, and then all of a sudden something else comes along. You need to encourage on a continual basis. You need to light the room. You need to light people up. You need to have it in your heart and in your soul, that desire to want to lift people up, to get them off their butts, to get them excited about things. If you can't motivate them with your passion and your example, then what are we doing? And why are we doing it? You have to encourage people when this gets hard. When you're working towards a mission, it gets hard. Long term, the more people get involved, the bigger the organization, the bigger the vision, the bigger the mission. The longer the duration, the bigger the dream, the longer the duration it takes to accomplish it, the more the struggle, the more challenge, the more conflict, because that's a promise, the more discord, because it's going to happen, the more disappointment, because that's a part of it, the more frustration, because that works stuff out of you, the more doubt, because that makes you steadfast, the more delay, because it's going to happen, because you're dealing with things like COVID-19 and people. All those things happen, and leaders have to deal with it by always being that encouraging voice. When the chips are down and it looks like everything's going to break, when it's looking bleak, you're still that beam of light. When it gets dark, when it gets challenging, when there's conflict, turmoil, and turbulent seas, you're solid. That's what you choose to be, because you're choosing to be a leader. Never stop being the voice of positivity. You're somebody they know they can go to because you're always going to turn a negative into a positive. You're always going to help them see the alternative you, the next step. You're going to champion people. You're going to champion the mission and the cause. That's leadership. You envision, you enlist, you embody, you empower, you evaluate, and man, you better encourage. What overlays all of this is a belief about what we're doing and why. It's important to us. And there's purpose about it. There's a mission that we feel so deeply down inside of us, and it's powerful. And we honor it, and we respect and love those people who are working with us. Now that's the leader. It's not just about the leader, but it's a group of us working together. And you got to remember, it's about the whole cell working this thing out through love. We are the movers and the shakers. We are the shaping and making this mission happen every single day. We love to work together, have fun, taking something that seems complex and just making fun of it making fun within it until you start to break down the difficulties of it, and all of a sudden you're discovering something that's life-changing. Now other people you find they're starting to stand up and they're helping come up with vision. They're championing and cheering on and bringing in and enlisting and other people. They're living that value and truth. They're standing up for something. They are empowering other people and championing the cause. They are your eyes. They are your ears. They are evaluating how the organization or mission is going. They are encouraging it so it doesn't just ride on your shoulders. And when we do that right, that's when you know you have this thing called leadership. And you can do it. Many of you daydream, so now you just need to envision. Envision something that truly can happen. Envision something that's burdening you already. Find the passion, light the fire, make the sacrifices, learn the skills. Be committed to what it takes. Take a chance. Live it out by faith. And allow God some room to bless it and to bring favor so that you can lead change in whatever area of life that God is calling you to. Fill out the PDF. Apply it. Watch how God begins to groom you towards it. Envision it often and make changes accordingly. And I promise you, you and your family and everywhere you go and every individual you come into contact with will be affected in a positive way. I love you and thank you for being here. That's leadership.